Welcome back to another season of football, ladies and gentlemen, and another season of Cowboy Nation Live, where everything here is about the Dallas Cowboys and how wonderful, how great, how magnificent, how amazing we do, even when we're cheated, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. But to tell you a little bit about the show, it's everything Cowboys. We're going to discuss numerous different things. We have special guests, and tonight we have a very, very exciting special guest. He's been my brother for over 40 years, nearly 40 years, I should say. And even though, let me just say he's a Steelers fan, okay? He's a Steelers fan, but it is always right and proper to look at things from different perspectives to see how we can work things out in Cowboy land, you know what I mean? So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Big Tiz, Sanders Tisdale.
Hey, what's going on, Cowboy Nation? Like I said, this is a very, very uncomfortable feeling for me, but you know what? I'm putting it out there for my boy Kenzo and for you guys on Cowboy Nation, and thanks for having me tonight. This is going to be a huge show, and the thing about it is Cowboy Nation Live. One thing about me is the fact is, if you look at some of the shows I do for Steeler Nation Live, is the fact that I love my team. But one thing I do love, foremost in my team, is I love football. And this right here is the beginning for that, and this is what it's all about. Coming on, showing respect, a game that I thought that the Cowboys should have won, and I thought they should have won it handily. And you know what? The Cowboys, they're a team that I think, just because of this loss, they can be a team that's on the rise. But right now, the Cowboys they have to take control and fix the problems that they have. And one of the problems that they're starting to have right now is in the secondary, even though they were cheated in the game with the secondary call from the Tampa Bay Bucs. But we all know, Kenzo, how this show goes when you got Tom Brady.
Yes, we do. 1 minute left. Let's give it to Brady, and he'll get every ref call in the book. Remember the tuck rule, ladies and gentlemen? Okay.
That's it. That's it, baby. That's it.
But there's something I do have to say, though. That Tom Brady, even though, he can throw the ball, but he came out and said, made a comment about defensive backs having these lower numbers, number 6, number 26, things like that. And he's talking about how that is just so unprofessional, so whatever he said. But Tom Brady, don't you know the tuck rule was the worst rule in football? Don't you? Please, come on, and you talking crap. But enough about that, because it ain't even about Brady. We are here. Let's tell you a little bit about what we're going to do tonight and discuss. For the next game, as well as have some final thoughts with you. So, without further ado, Tommy, let's get into these game stats, all right?
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah.
And as we know from last year, watching Cowboy games, the fact is, if he's throwing for 400, 500 yards, that means that you're playing from behind.
Touche. And let's just say, keep it real. We had 4 turnovers. We recovered 4 turnovers. 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. And another thing was the field goal. Zerline. Dude cost us 7 points, man. I'm just like, Your job is just to kick a ball through field goal. Kick a ball through the field goal. He should be just dreaming and eating, sleeping that, man. He should just be, it should be secondary to him. It shouldn't even come natural. But let me get off this soapbox and get back on to some of the things that we did see in the game. Tommy, you want to tell them about your perspective on Ezekiel Elliott, for example.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the problems for the Cowboys. Like I said, Zeke with 11 carries for 33 yards. That's got to change. You got a guy right here that's been getting big time money for the Cowboys, and he's only touching the ball like 6 to 7 to 8 to 11 times. For a guy making that amount of money, the Cowboys have to find ways to get him back into the game. The ball has to get back into Zeke's hand for them to create more offensive chances for the Cowboys to not just throw for 400 and 500 yards. To me, when I see Dak throwing for 275 or Dak throwing for 280, even 290, those are the numbers that are okay. That means because it's somewhat balanced. But right now, with them going off of one balance and them keeping Zeke in to just do blocking, that's not what you paid Zeke for, Ken. You paid Zeke to carry the ball.
Touche.
What was that? I'm not a Cowboy fan, but this right here is to drive me nuts.
Eat. And you did say it, but you mentioned it. What Zeke did, even though they didn't utilize him, they utilized him in blocking, not for what he's been paid to do and run him over. But he did have some key blocks to help protect Dak in the back there. So on that, I'm gonna give him some kudos, man, because I saw a couple times he knocked somebody flat out. I was like, man, that little dude is strong, he's strong.
Oh yeah.
But
the thing about this, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money
Yeah.
to pay a guy to just block. I mean, if that's the case, you just pay $500,000 to get a fullback there to block.
yeah, touche. A fullback would be a blocker, right? But what it is too with Zeke, like you said, Big Tiz, the thing with creating the play action passes for us, Zeke, he sets all that up for Dak. You know what I mean? When he runs the ball, average 7-8 yards a carry, they don't know what to do then. They don't know what to do, and that was one of the reasons I really do believe they didn't utilize him enough in this game. Even though Tampa Bay has I think their number one defense, right? Last year,
They were up
there. They were up there. I know they were up there, but they didn't utilize Zeke in the capacity they should have used him. And like you said, usually when you see quarterbacks throwing with that many targets and attempts and completions, they're really coming from behind. And we were behind the whole game until the last quarter. We definitely were that. And it does speak volumes to that. But nevertheless, Dak had no rust. His ankle was strong, no limp. He didn't do anything. He came out and showed off is what he did. That's why y'all know I'm gotta represent for my guy.
You got your Dak jersey.
Yes, I do. I got my Dak jersey on because Dak, you did amazing, bro. I'm so proud of you. And Zeke, on the other hand, he had some key blocks, and I'm gonna keep it real. I wish they would have utilized him more, Kellen Moore, if you're listening. But we can go on and discuss that forever. But the receivers, let's talk about the receivers, Sam.
Oh yeah, the receivers had a field day. Now don't get me wrong, the receivers came out. They caught balls. Even though I believe CeeDee Lamb did drop some balls he should have caught. First down completions and things of that sort. And he did drop them. But the fact is he made up for it by 7 for 104 yards, 1 TD. And he looked good. CeeDee Lamb looked good. The receiving core for the Cowboys looked excellent. I think, they got some things to work on, but they look good. And Amari Cooper still doing his thing. 13 for 139 yards, 2 TDs. Amari Cooper left off from last year All-Star status. He's back, and he's doing it again. And the good thing about it is that Dak seems to know where he is, and he finds him, and that's going to cause a lot of problems, especially for the upcoming game with the Chargers. And I love the addition of Schultz, the young tight end. He's coming in, he's grabbing balls, and the thing about it is he's grabbing these balls that mean a lot of things. People say, he probably has a reception and he has like 450 yards, but those are first down pickups that this guy's picking up with receptions, and he's doing a phenomenal job. So I think that the Cowboys receiving core is doing an excellent job. And let's not forget, Ken, the fact of Gallup, 4 receptions for 36 yards. So Gallup is actually making that addition to the team, which is much needed for them. Because if it's going to be a team that's going to be playing from behind, you need receivers that's going to catch the ball, and Dak looks like he knows how to spread the ball around.
Yeah, if I didn't know you better, I think that was a dig right there. I think that was a dig. But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, what he said is on point, and I could always trust my boy's in point. He speaks the truth, so it is what it is. And what he said about Schultz, it's true. He picked up many first downs with those short passes that he got that kept the ball and the chains moving for us. So, tell me. Would you like to have people call in right now?
Let's bring them in, brother.
Let's bring them in.
That's what Cowboy Nation is all about, bro.
That's right. So if you're listening to the show right now, we want to get your perspective as well. So why don't you call us at 478-202-4271 to talk to us and give us some enlightenment and some of your perspective. You know what I mean? But moving on, we're going to go to, what is it? Defense. And for defense, I got to say, I got to first and foremost give it up to Micah Parsons. I've been reading a lot about him, heard a lot about him, and I think he is what Dallas Cowboy needed in the linebacker, and that back protecting the line. And just back there, making things happen. Vander Esch, when he first came, I thought he was going to do some great things, which he did, but he got hurt. I get that. Jalen, same with him because he was out with an ACL. And Sean Lee just stayed hurt every week, man. Every game that dude got hurt. But I think
the one thing I will say, Ken, about Sean Lee is the fact that Sean Lee, he knew when his time was up and he knew it was time to go. Yeah. So he made the move and he left. And the Cowboys do have some decent linebackers back there. But I don't even perceive as defensive wise as that being a problem for the Cowboys. I kind of see the problem with the Cowboys is the end guys, the cornerbacks, because the cornerbacks are the ones that seem to be having issues. But a lot of that, as we spoke offline earlier, a lot of that sometimes pertains to the fact of not getting a heavy rush on the Tampa Bay Bucs, because there were a lot of times I'm not sure if Brady was sacked or if he was sacked once or in this game. But it wasn't enough sacks. It wasn't enough to keep Brady off his toes. And a lot of the games that I used to watch back when the Giants were winning Super Bowls against the Patriots is the fact that they always had that push up the middle, which kind of kept Brady off his feet and off his toes and didn't give Brady enough time to find, his second or third receiver. So, and I believe that was the only difference right there. The Cowboys that defense just has to get inside a little more, because right now, you're asking some young, inexperienced secondary guys to cover Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. Now, I'm coming from Still a Nation Live, and Antonio Brown, I know how Antonio Brown is when he gets on his groove, and that's what happened. I even told you during the game, we both were watching the game. I seen Antonio Brown starting to get in his groove, and I warned you. I said, dude, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Ken, what's your thoughts on that, man? Man,
the ironic thing is that Antonio Brown was burning Anthony Brown. How about that?
Exactly. like a bad family reunion. You know
exactly, right? And it's just like, man, can you just I really have nothing to say, because when he is in that zone, that dude he's fire, man. I gotta, I'm not a Steelers fan, I got to tell the truth. Right. And he's not for the Steelers anymore, but when he played for the Steelers, you see this dude on the sideline catching one-hand passes. When he's in that zone, when that dude is like, he's there. He's on fire. And just like you said, we were on the phone, you said, he getting in that zone, Ken. He's in that zone, Ken. What y'all going to do? It was like.
That's exactly what it was. What you going to do?
What can we do?
Zone. And even if he was playing the Steelers, I believe the same thing. If Antonio's in that zone and he's getting the ball, it's a done deal for that defensive back.
Yep.
And no matter who they playing. But the fact is, like I said, that pressure has to be there, and to protect those young secondary guys. But
Yeah.
that wasn't the only aspect of the game that gave problems for the Cowboys. It was the special teams, Ken, and the special teams caused multiple problems for the Cowboys. And the fact of you got a young kicker who last year he did decent in spurts, but I know there were some times where he missed some big kicks. And Greg Zuerlein, he missed them again. I mean, 3 of 5 in this game of field goals, which the Cowboys would have won handily in this game. 3 of 5 and 2 of 3 in extra points. You can't have that if you want to compete. And Ken, if the Cowboys want to compete, the move has to be now. So God dang it, make the move now.
Yes, I gotta tell you, he gotta go, man. He needs to go. I mean, this was a big time game and a big time loss for us because it missed 2 field goals and an extra point. That's just I have no words. And I'm a wordsmith, but I have no words.
2 field goals, Ken. Oh, 2 field goals. That's 6 points right there.
And 7 points.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean the field goals, 3 points apiece, and then you get he missed one extra point. Yeah,
Yep.
you're right. 7 points. You're right. You call
7
it 7 points. That's a touchdown. The Cowboys.
We've been up by 5 points. Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, he's like, you remember what was the guy on Pittsburgh that kept missing the field goals? Y'all got Boss.
Dude. No, yeah.
Bringing back memories.
You had to go down memory lane.
I know. I'm sorry about that, Big Ten. Sorry about that. But that's
it has to be rectified. And I don't know if the Cowboys can go into the playoffs and you got a kicker who you can't trust. So then you end up being like the Buffalo Bills. They played the Steelers over the weekend. I'm a Steelers fan, but they played the Steelers over the weekend, and then you got the Bills going for it on 4th down and 8. That's when you end up with teams doing things like that.
Yeah.
So, and you don't want to be in that predicament. So the Cowboys either need to be actively searching for somebody in the background, and then when finally gets to a point to where if he does it again and act on it, then he needs to be cut.
Yeah, he should have been cut that day because that was a horrible play on his part. And then, I mean, it's those points, 1 and 2 points, turn games around. They definitely turn games around. But
exactly,
it's overwhelming, but nonetheless, as we continue on our defensive, we're missing DeMarcus now. He has a foot injury, and I'm just like, wow. What else is going on? Gallup is hurt now with the injuries too as well, and I
can read off some of the list here for the Cowboy injuries. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's going to be out. Injury reserve. Randy Gregory, he's out, and I believe he had COVID related
protocol.
symptoms.
Yeah.
Ty. I'm sorry, I can't make out his last name. And you actually have a slew of Cowboys out for this game. This next game coming up versus the Chargers, and this is a huge game. The Cowboys haven't went 0-2 since 2010, so that's about 11 years since the Cowboys been 0-2. And right now is not the time to start thinking about 0-2, Ken.
I know, and I just want to take the time out to say thank you for being a history buff for the Cowboys. I love that about you, man. But, ladies and gentlemen, no, that is not about him being a buff. He's gonna beat me with that if we become 0-2, okay? Yeah. So I just had to throw that in there, man. But it's our defense is already had holes in it in the secondary, but now with DeMarcus out. It's going to be a challenge, and Leo Collins as well. He's out too,
right?
And I'm just this week we're going to see. We're going to stay hopeful. We're going to stay trusting, and in that new SoFi Stadium. I don't know.
Yeah.
We need to mark it with a star.
Cowboys got a huge game coming up this week versus the LA Chargers, and like we said, it's a team that's formidable. I mean, a team that's they just had a huge game over the weekend, and they won that one, so they're up there and they're amped up. They're ready to play the Cowboys, and they just won over the Redskins. I think it was 20 26-16 or 20 to
Yeah.
16. I'm sorry about that.
Yep.
Yeah, but their quarterback, phenomenal game. And this is a young guy that can throw the ball around, who knows how to get to receivers. Keenan Allen, 8 catches for 100 yards. Mike Williams, 8 for 62, 1 touchdown. These are guys that know how to catch the ball, go up and get the ball at high points. And the Cowboys, with that young secondary, they have to be ready. So that means now, with the Cowboys missing DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory out there on the defense, there has to be these next guys up. These next guys up have to step in, and they got to put pressure on the quarterback, because you can't have these guys out there in the island by themselves. And right now, at this point with the injuries, it's almost looking that way. And I don't know if there's any way to rectify. I don't know if you think that the Cowboys have a great chance in their secondary, Kenzo. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on our secondary, we're like, basically, I'm just being real, that our secondary is like Swiss cheese, man. We got some holes to fill. And like the last play in the game, well, the Tampa Bay game, the next to last game, when actually Jordan Lewis had great coverage on Godwin, but Godwin pushed off, as you all know. But so Jordan Lewis, it's the other guy, Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown. But I did see some openings in that game where the secondary, they didn't look like they knew where they were going or what they were doing. So it's with DeMarcus gone, Leo Collins not there, and Randy Gregory, it's going to be a challenge for us this week. It's definitely going to be a challenge, because that quarterback, Justin Herbert, he's got that arm. He can run. He's been doing some things, and I'm just being realistic here, because I'm a diehard Cowboy, and I will go out there and say, yeah, we're gonna do it. Then I got to come back and eat crow. So I'm just gonna keep it laid back a little bit and just see what happens in this next game. So, with any final thoughts, Tommy, that you might tell me what you're thinking.
Well, first, before we do that, I want to get what you think. What are your final thoughts of, like, what do you think a score is for this game versus the LA Chargers?
Oh, that hopefully we'll win, and I'm gonna say 24-21. I'm trusting that, and I'm sticking with that. And I think Zeke can do some things in this game. I really think the workhorse is going to be Zeke in this game for some reason.
Right. That could be the main difference. Zeke has to be the difference. You can't keep throwing the ball all the time. And the fact is, with Zeke being the difference, I think the Cowboys can win. And there's been a lot of talk about Zeke and Zeke not getting the ball, Zeke not touching the ball. So I think things will kind of change in this game. And if they do, I think the Cowboys can get out on top, and I believe they can win this game, like you said. It's going to be a close game, no matter what, because the Chargers, they have a decent offense, and the Cowboys got some problems in the secondary. But with the fact of you got Dak out there throwing the ball a lot, and if you change that up and get Zeke with the ball a little bit, that will help out. And I think the Cowboys can win this game probably like I say 27-20. And I think the Cowboys can come away. Yeah, I think they could come away with a late touchdown with about 2 minutes left and win this game. But they got to be cognizant of those guys in that secondary, and that means that you need two. You got two big holes there you need to fill for the Cowboys on the defense, and they got to get filled somehow. Next man up. I mean, they got to step in and do work.
It's going to be interesting because we're going to see what kind of talent we did recruit. You know what I mean? And this situation is really going to give us some more insight on if we're there, or what else do we need to do to be there, or things like that. But I'm hopeful, and I gotta say, I didn't think you were thinking that we were going to win this, but I'm grateful for that.
Like I said, the difference is, there's some people online, and there's going to be people later on watching it. Put your comments down at the bottom. See what your thoughts are for the Cowboys' upcoming game versus the LA Chargers. And I believe the Cowboys can pull it out. But like we said earlier, the difference has to be Zeke. If Zeke can touch the ball more than what he did in the last game versus the Tampa Bay Bucs, I believe the Cowboys got a chance to win this game. If it goes back to status quo, where you're throwing 58 to 60 times, then I don't know where you're going to go from there.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys got to find a way to rectify it. It's great when you have an offense that can get down the field, up and down the field, but you need an offense that has to be complemented by some form of a defense keeping them in the game. And don't get me wrong, this game versus the Tampa Bay Bucs, the defense kept them in the game, and at spurts, like you said, we had 4 turnovers for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. But they also were some ones that they let down on.
Yeah, we didn't capitalize.
The game didn't end up in their favor.
Yeah.
Right. The game didn't end up in the Cowboys' favor, which, bad to the refs. I mean, that was a blatant call. Everybody's seen it. I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I'm a football fan, and that was disgusting. So I was like, you know what? The Cowboys deserve to win that game. They should have won that game. They should be 1-0. They're not, but the thing about it is I believe they'll be 1-1 this week after a win versus the LA Chargers at the new SoFi Stadium. So I believe the Cowboys will win this weekend.
Well, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm trusting in it. I think we've got a good chance if we utilize Zeke more. If we utilize Zeke, I think so. But I want to thank y'all for chiming in and tuning in tonight, ladies and gentlemen, out there in Cowboy Land. This was a first run, and we do hope you enjoyed the show and look forward to many more, because every week we'll be discussing what went right, what went wrong, and what can we do to rectify it in Cowboy world. So thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Any final thoughts, Sanders?
Hey, play hard. Go home and put it all away wet. Like I said, the Cowboys take it to the house, come back 1-1. Your fans will be back and respect you. That's all it's about, is respect. Play hard, Cowboys.
Play hard. That's right. So without further ado, thanks once again, and we look to see you next week.
All right.